All right, here we go. Next question up. We see here that it says we're trying to find what the total volume is, but be careful here. Read this properly. It says, what is the total volume of both rooms? So we have two rooms to take into account, but more importantly, we want to find this total volume in cubic feet. Be very careful there. Again, we want to find the volume of both rooms in cubic feet, which means that at the end of the day, to get this correct, we need to go ahead and find the volume of the first room in cubic feet, and we'll add that with the volume of the second room, again, needing to be in cubic feet. When I express that, when I emphasize that, take a look at the information we're given. I'm going to put this at the bottom right, but now pay attention to the information we're given. A basement has two storage rooms. Room A is this long, this wide, and this tall. Read those units though. Don't skip over that. 15 feet, 10 feet, 8 feet. So, everyone, my party people over here, for room A, do we need to do any conversions before we find the volume for room A? No conversions needed. No conversions needed because, again, we are looking for cubic feet, and each of those dimensions are given to us in feet. So we're good there. So let's write that down. The volume for room 1 will be 15 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 8. So we'll do the calculation here in a moment, so don't worry about that. But now I'm going to set up my other volume for room B. So I'll go ahead and use purple to highlight that. And it says room B over here is 4 yards long, 3 yards wide, and 8 feet tall. Everyone, for room B, are we going to need to convert to get the proper volume there? Absolutely, right? We're absolutely going to need to convert. And so let me move this yet again over here to the left so I can really show you what's going on. Let me just make a little bit of space for myself. Look at volume 2. We are going to have 4 yards, which won't work, 3 yards, which won't work, and then the 8 feet, which will work. That's actually proper, so we'll just write down the 8 feet. But what we have to do before we may continue is convert the 3 yards that belongs right here and it doesn't really matter, but we'll put the 3 yards over here since it was second, and we'll write the 4 yards over here. Let's convert, everybody. To convert from yards to feet, what do we do? What operation and by how much? Yeah, we are going to multiply. Remember, everybody, when we're going from a big unit like yards to a smaller unit like feet, what we do is we multiply, and that's going to be a multiplication factor of 3. So when we do that, we have right over here 4 times 3, that's going to give us 12. And then we have 3 times 3, which is going to give us 9. So now we have the proper conversion done. Now we're good to go. And just remind me, everybody, once we calculate the first volume and the second volume, what do we do with those two values at the end? Yeah, we're going to add. Don't forget what we said we would do. Getting that total volume, adding them together. Now we have it set up correctly. Now we can do this faithfully. Let me get this out of the way, and let's get to work. First up over here on the left side, 15 multiplied by 10 is 150. And then we're going to do 150 times 8. 150 times 8, that is going to give us, that's 120 plus another 0, so 1200. But we can go ahead and show that nice and easy should we require it. 0 times 8. 5 times 8 is 40, carry the 4. 1 times 8 is 8, carry the 4 is 12. So again, that would be 1200 cubic feet. Next up, I'll remove that multiplication so I can give myself more room for the second volume. So we have 12 multiplied by 9 multiplied by 8. So 12 multiplied by 9, that is going to give us 108. And so we have 108 times 8. which is going to be what? When we perform the multiplication here, we end up getting 8 times 8 is 64. 0 times 8 is 0. Carry the 6, gives us 6. And then we have 1 times 8, and that will give us 8. So 864 cubic feet is what we have for the second volume. And again, that required unit conversions first. But once we've done that, now we're in a great position to succeed because all we have to do at the end is just add those values. So here we are. We have 1,200 plus 864. That ends up giving us 2,064 total cubic feet. And that's what's going to make the correct answer here. Answer choice D, 2,064 cubic feet. So next problem here, and it says solve 9x plus 7 equals 4x plus 42. So this is a pretty lengthy one. And what we're going to do to handle this is just take a moment to observe. We're going to observe first. So we have 9x plus 7 equals 4x plus 42. So here's how we're going to handle this. I want to make sure that I get variables on the same side. They're on opposite sides, so I got to get them together. I also noticed that, hey, I got loose numbers, that I got to get them together. So yeah, we're going to be collecting these like terms on the same sides and then working from there. We have two options. If I wanted to, I could move the 9x to the right, but who here loves negative numbers? Does anybody here love negative numbers? Yeah, a lot of people saying no, and a good group of people being sarcastic. That's how I see it. So with that, what we're going to do is we're going to take the 4x and move it to the left. The reason I'm going to move it to the left is because I want to keep the values positive. Watch. Minus 4x, boom, cancels out on the right, and that's going to leave me with 5x plus 7. Look at how this becomes much more manageable, because now that I have this in front of us, we're good to go. Now it's a much easier problem that we may have been practicing up to this point, and we'll subtract 7 at first, leaving us with that 35 on the right, again canceling on the left, and now we just have 5x equals 35. Everyone, what's the last step that we'll take here? The last step is just going to be divide by 5 on both sides. And we're good. There we go. We'll divide by 5. There and there. Which is going to cancel out, giving us x equals 7. And there we go. The correct answer here is C, 7. And there we are. And even if you did it in a different order than how I did it, even if you subtracted 7 first, you'd still have that 35. Because then when you subtract the 4x, you'd still have the 5x. So you could have subtracted 7 first. You could have subtracted the 9x on both sides first. As long as you're doing the same thing to both sides, and then obviously calculating properly, you can still achieve the same correct answer of 7 in more than one way. There's 4 different ways that you could have gone about this, and all of the ways would have been correct. So there we are, my party people, and let's go ahead and get ready for another one.